Welcome into Butts Talk. It's Wednesday, November 30th. I'm Nick Butts. Joining me tonight in the studio is my brother, Nate Butts. Let's get started. So the rankings came out last night for championship weekend. Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Washington. That's your top four. Michigan dropped to 5, followed by Wisconsin, Penn State, Colorado, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State. That sets up a pretty interesting championship weekend. The top four this week, Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Washington. I agree with that. I think Alabama, we all know that's the best team in the country. The only undefeated Power 5 team. Even if they lose this weekend, they're in. Ohio State, they beat Michigan. They're number 2. They're deserving of that spot right now, even though they will not be playing in the Big Ten championship game. But I still think that they're a lock in the playoff right now. Clemson, number 3. They're 11-1, playing for the ACC title this week. I think they're deserving of that ranking. They're only lost to Pitt by 1. And then lastly, Washington at 11-1, playing for the Pac-12 championship game. They've been solid all year, but where they can't really find a quality win against a top opponent. So Nathan, what are your thoughts on this week's top four?
Well, there's no doubt, I don't think, in anybody's mind that Alabama is the top team in the country, and Alabama probably will win another national championship this year. But I do think they're closely followed by Clemson, and I do not feel like Ohio State's deserving of that 2 spot. Because let's be honest here, folks, Ohio State does play in the Big Ten. And I don't really have any respect for the Big Ten unless they can produce a champion for me here this year.
Need I remind you that the Big Ten actually has been the best conference this year. They have 4 teams in the top 10 right now. Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Penn State. So the Big Ten has been solid all year. But anyway, let's take a look at the week ahead. 4 Power 5 conference championships. And then Bedlam, which is basically the Big 12 championship game. So let's start in the ACC. Number 3, Clemson. Number 23, Virginia Tech meet in Orlando. That game's 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Nathan?
Well, I do expect Clemson to win this football game. I expect Clemson to win this football game by 21 points. But, I've been watching Clemson play for many, many years, and I wouldn't be surprised if I see them, what I like to say, pull a Clemson. Virginia Tech's fired up for this game. They love getting a shot at Clemson. This will be a rematch of the 2011 championship game.
That's right.
And that's where Clemson handled them pretty easily.
38-10 in that 2011 meeting. That was actually their second meeting that year. The first time Clemson beat them 23-3. So there's the ACC championship, and then there's the SEC championship, which we all expected Alabama to be playing in it from the start of the season. And then the SEC East team, Florida. It's a rematch of last year, number 1, number 15. But Florida is a 3-loss team. Their offense is pretty bad, but their defense is pretty stout. That game is 4 on CBS.
Yeah.
What do you think about this one?
Yeah, that also is a game that should not be any problem from Alabama, and I do not expect Florida to be able to compete with them at all, and we will see the Alabama backups come second half.
Yeah, I think Alabama will win that one pretty big, and I think even if they were to lose to Florida, which won't happen, that they would still be in the playoff. Probably even as the number 1 seed. The Big Ten championship game, that's really the one that I'm looking most forward to. Number 6, Wisconsin. Number 7, Penn State. That's in Indianapolis, 8 Eastern on Fox. Both are 2-loss teams, but Penn State has a win over Ohio State, which is what's really keeping them in the conversation right now. They won the Big Ten East, and they're looking up right now. The Badgers, they lost to Michigan by 7 and Ohio State by 7, so they're really hanging in there. What do you think about this one, Nathan?
Well, I'm really not sure. This might be the best conference championship game that we will see this weekend, although it is the Big Ten. So, folks, if you don't watch it, I don't blame you. I'd rather be watching Clemson and Virginia Tech play, because who wants to watch Big Ten football? It's a bunch of white guys running around, pushing each other down. They don't even really tackle in that conference. But, it should be an interesting game, but I do think Wisconsin will pull one out of their rear ends, and that will definitely get Penn State, who is very undeserving of being in this conversation for the college football playoff. That'll completely remove them from that nonsense.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin or Penn State, should they win, either one, should they emerge as the champion, will be a serious contender for the playoff. Moving on to the Pac-12, number 4 Washington and number 8 Colorado meet in Santa Clara, California, Friday night at 9 Eastern. That one's on Fox. What do you think about this one?
Well, I've said all year, I've been asking the question, who is Washington? And Washington has not shown me who they are. They did have a loss to a decent USC team, but I'm just not impressed. They rank 68th in their RPI, and Washington is definitely not deserving of any conversation of being in the college football playoff if they drop this game to Colorado. But Washington, if they win, they're in.
I agree with you there. Colorado, though, they've looked like a solid team all year under Mike McIntyre. What a turnaround, though. He was actually named Coach of the Year in the Pac-12 this past week. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, he's really done something great with that program, and I really would not be surprised to see the Colorado Buffaloes win this game. And if they do that, then that'll certainly be a shakeup. And don't be surprised if Colorado slips in there at the 4th seed for the college football playoff.
Yeah, I agree with you there. They could sneak in. I do think Colorado will win that game. Excuse me. In the Big 12, it's not the actual championship game, but the winner is going to be the champion. Bedlam, number 10 Oklahoma State at number 9 Oklahoma. Now, in my opinion, I don't think the winner has any chance of making the playoff. A 2-loss Big 12 team. Each team has a weak strength of schedule. Nathan, what do you think about this one?
Well, this is a tough rivalry game, and be honest with you, this one might be too close to call. Oklahoma has won their last 8 games. Oklahoma State has won their last 7. They are both hot coming into this one. And it'll be an interesting game, afternoon kickoff. So we'll see what happens. But I think Oklahoma could win this one, but it'll be a tight one.
Yeah, that one's 12:30 on, is it Fox?
Yes, sir. It is
That's
Fox.
on Fox. Yeah, I think the Sooners will pull that one off. It's in Norman. Oklahoma State did actually beat the Sooners in Norman last time they played there, but I still think Oklahoma will win this one. And I think they'll win it pretty big. In the Conference USA, there's Louisiana Tech and Western Kentucky playing the American, Temple, and number 19 Navy. There's a few Sun Belt games this weekend. And in the MAC championship, actually, this one I'm looking forward to. Number 17, Western Michigan, meets Ohio on Friday night in Detroit. Western Michigan, should they win, will be 13-0 and will be on their way, I assume, to the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. What do you think about this?
Yeah, this should be a shoe-in for the Western Michigan Broncos. They have had some wins that really were not over great teams, but I definitely think that we will be seeing them in the Cotton Bowl after they handle the Bobcats very, very easily.
Well, they did beat Northwestern Illinois. Northwestern is actually a pretty solid team this year. Illinois, well, that's another story. So, in my opinion, the top 4 is pretty accurate this week, except just a few changes. Alabama, for me, is number 1. But Clemson is my number 2. That's because they're playing for their conference championship. They've gotten some quality wins on their schedule. They've beaten Auburn on the road, Louisville at home, and Florida State on the road. Those are 3 top 25 teams, actually top 15 teams, I believe, in the college football playoff rankings. And, of course, last week they just handled South Carolina. 56-7. That rarely happens in a rivalry game. My number 3 is Ohio State. They've looked solid all year except for their loss to Penn State. The only reason they're number 3 and not 2 for me is because they're not playing for their conference title. Number 4, that's Washington for me. I believe that the Huskies are a good, solid football team this year. They just lack the wins over quality opponents that teams like Alabama and Clemson have. Now, Washington, I believe if they do win the Pac-12 championship, that they will get into the playoff. Nathan, what's your top 4?
Well, my top 4 is definitely number 1, Alabama. There is no doubt in my mind about that. Then I'm checking in at number 2, I have Clemson. Similar for the same reason you have. I'm very impressed by their win over South Carolina, 56-7.
Right.
They absolutely demolished them, and then they are playing for a conference championship. Well, I have Ohio State checking in at number 3. Same reason being they are not playing for their conference championship. But Nick, something that a little bit different. I actually do have Michigan checking in at number 4, and I know I do talk a lot of smack about the Big Ten, but I would not be surprised if the committee tried to pull something and put 2 big Big Ten teams in the college football playoff. Michigan, I am impressed. Although they do have 2 losses, I still definitely have them at number 4.
Well, you see, that's where you're wrong, Nathan, because I believe Michigan is completely out of the playoff conversation, which moves us into our next segment. Here's some possible scenarios. Here's what I think will happen this weekend for everything to play out the way that I predict it. Okay, so Alabama, win or lose, they're in, no matter what. They're number 1. They've been number 1 all year. They're the best. If Clemson wins the ACC title game, that would be another win over a top 25 team. And there's no way that you can leave a 12-1 ACC champion out. Washington, if they win their Pac-12 title game against number 8 Colorado, they're in. You can't leave them out. 12-1, they've looked solid all year, they're in. Now, this is where people will debate. Ohio State, I believe, has punched their ticket with a win over Michigan last week. An emotional win, heartbreaker for Michigan, some controversial play calls. Ohio State pulled through and beat the Wolverines in double overtime, though. I think they've punched their ticket. Now, the question for me is, will they get that number 2 spot? Nathan, what do you think?
Well, I think that we will have. I think that things will shape up this weekend to be Alabama at number 1, Clemson at number 2.
I agree.
And then your number 3 could be up in the air, but I do think we will see Ohio State stay. And I believe that Colorado will pull off a win against Washington and sneak in at the 4 spot.
Well, see, that's where I disagree. I believe Colorado will pull off the win against Washington, but I think that will open the door for the Big Ten champion, whether that be Wisconsin or Penn State, to get into the college football playoff. Maybe taking that number 4 spot. That's all the time we have for today, folks. For Nate Butts, I'm Nick Butts. This has been Butts Talk.